Humans walk away from talks, sending Galactic Council into panic HFY. Alien delegates from hundreds of different worlds filled the seats, each one strange and intimidating in its own way. Some had many eyes, others had smooth, reflective skin, and a few had limbs that moved in ways humans could not imagine. The room was alive with quiet murmurs and nervous movements as the council prepared for the most important meeting in decades. They were here to convince humanity to agree to new rules, new limitations, and a forced peace that humans did not want. Alex Carter, the human lead diplomat, walked slowly into the chamber. He was tall, with brown hair and calm green eyes. He did not rush, and he did not look nervous. Behind him walked Lisa Brown, a young but sharp assistant diplomat, and John Evans, a seasoned negotiator who had faced difficult talks many times before. The humans moved quietly, but there was a presence about them that seemed to command attention without trying. The council members had never met humans in person before, and many of them were unsure what to expect. Some thought humans were fragile, weak, or easy to manipulate. The meeting began with a formal announcement. A tall alien with silver skin and 4 arms spoke first. He introduced the topic and made it clear that humans were expected to accept the council's decisions. The language was polite, but the meaning was harsh. Humanity had been involved in the galaxy for only a few hundred years, and in the council's eyes, humans were still new, still untested. The council had no doubt that humans would bend to their will. Alex listened quietly as the alien spoke. He did not interrupt. He did not raise his voice. Lisa leaned slightly toward him, whispering softly, "Are you sure silence is the right move?" Alex shook his head slightly and gave a small smile. "Let them speak. Watch what they do. We will respond, but only on our terms." As the council continued, other aliens took their turn. They spoke of regulations, of required fleets, of controlled trade routes. Some even implied threats, suggesting that human colonies would be at risk if they did not comply. The humans noticed the tension in the room, the nervous whispers that spread from one corner to another. Yet Alex remained calm. John Evans, who had dealt with stubborn negotiators before, leaned in and murmured, "They really think they can scare us." Alex nodded without speaking. Hours passed, and the meeting became more tense. Alien voices rose slightly as they tried to press the humans into agreement. One delegate, a creature with skin that shifted color like a living rainbow, leaned forward and said directly, "Human representatives, you must agree now. Resistance is foolish. Your species is young, and you have not yet proven yourself capable of galactic responsibility." Alex finally spoke, but not with anger. His voice was steady, almost soft. "We have proven ourselves in ways you cannot measure. We are not here to ask for permission, nor are we here to bow to threats. We came to discuss, not to surrender." The council members paused, surprised by the calm firmness in his words. A few murmured to each other, but most were silent, unsure how to respond. The meeting continued, but the humans did not argue. They did not plead. They simply listened. Lisa and John watched as delegates tried every tactic: intimidation, flattery, even attempts to confuse them with technical rules and jargon. Each time, Alex replied with the same calm observation, pointing out inconsistencies, asking questions that the aliens could not answer easily. It was not confrontation, but quiet strength. The council had never seen humans behave this way. As the sun of the alien world dipped behind distant mountains visible through the chamber's tall windows, Alex finally stood. He looked out across the room, across hundreds of alien faces filled with doubt, curiosity, and now worry. He did not raise his voice. He did not gesture wildly. He simply said, "Our talks are over. We will leave." And with that, he turned and walked toward the exit. Lisa and John followed without hesitation. The council chamber fell into stunned silence. Some aliens opened their mouths to speak, but no sound came. The humans moved with quiet confidence, calm but unwavering. They did not run. They did not slam doors. They just left, leaving the council to deal with the shock. The sound of their footsteps echoed through the hall long after they had disappeared. Outside the chamber, the humans reached their waiting transport. The halls were long and empty now. No one spoke. Alex finally turned to Lisa and John. "They think we are weak because we speak little," he said. "We will show them what silence can mean." John nodded, understanding immediately. He had seen this calm before, the way humans could wait, observe, and then act with precision. Lisa looked out at the alien city below. It was grand, filled with technology far beyond what humans had developed, but the beauty and size did not intimidate her. Humans had their own strengths, and they had learned to survive where others had failed. As they prepared to leave the planet, the Council scrambled to send messages to human colonies. None received immediate replies. Communication channels were suddenly blocked. Aliens watched in confusion as the human ships silently departed from orbit. Some assumed it was a technical error. Others whispered rumors of human fear or hesitation. Few considered the possibility that humans had made a deliberate choice, a choice that the Council could not yet understand. On the human command ship, Alex gathered his team. "We are not running," he said. "We are leaving because we will act when we are ready, not when they tell us to. We will protect our people and our colonies. We will prepare quietly, and they will only see the result when we choose." Lisa looked at him, respect in her eyes. "It is amazing," she said softly. "They cannot understand that leaving does not mean surrender." Alex smiled. "That is the point," he said. "They have never faced humans this way before." Far across the galaxy, the Council members held emergency meetings. Some screamed for explanations. Others tried to reach the humans through old communication channels, but all attempts failed. The panic in the Council grew. Whispers of fear replaced confident orders. A few older delegates remembered old stories of human resilience, of battles where humans had survived against impossible odds. Now, faced with silence instead of negotiation, even the most arrogant members began to feel uneasy. Back on the human ship, preparations quietly continued. Supplies were checked, fleets were reviewed, and strategies were refined. There was no chaos, no rush. Humans moved with precision, calm focus, and clear purpose. Alex and his team knew they had taken the first step in a long process. The first step was not anger, not violence, but simple choice, to walk away on their own terms. As the stars streaked past the windows of the command ship, Lisa looked at Alex. "Do you think they understand what we have done?" she asked. He shook his head. "They will understand soon enough. Silence is sometimes louder than words," John added quietly, "and they will learn to fear it." The humans moved into deep space, leaving the Council behind in confusion and panic. The first part of a much larger story was now complete, and the galaxy had not yet realized that humans were already acting, already preparing, already walking a path no one else could fully predict. The calm confidence of humanity was a warning the Council had not expected, and it was only the beginning of a journey that would change everything. Far from the Council chamber, the alien worlds were in chaos. News of humanity walking out of the talks spread faster than any message ever could. Delegates and leaders across hundreds of star systems sent urgent messages to one another, but no one had answers. The humans had disappeared from Council space, leaving behind only silence. For some, the silence was confusing. For others, it was frightening. In the main Council hub, a massive room filled with screens and holographic projections, leaders argued loudly. A round, blue-skinned alien with long tendrils instead of arms slammed one tentacle onto the console. "They cannot do this. They cannot leave without permission," it shouted. Other delegates murmured in agreement, but no one had a plan. They had always assumed humans would follow instructions, or at least argue in a predictable way. This, they realized too late, was something else entirely. Analysts worked furiously, tapping at alien interfaces and scanning communications from human colonies. Most of the reports were incomplete or blocked. Human messages were going through, but only in fragmented signals, almost like a shielded fog. It was impossible to know exactly what humanity was doing. Panic began to spread. Some Council members started remembering old histories, tales of human wars and victories against impossible odds. They had assumed humans had changed, had grown peaceful. Now they were not so sure. Back on the human command ship, Alex Carter sat with Lisa Brown and John Evans. They watched star maps and strategic displays, planning quietly. The humans were not preparing for a fight yet. They were preparing to be ready for anything, and that made them unpredictable. Supplies were organized, fleets were checked, and communication channels were carefully secured. Every action was calm, precise, and deliberate. "They think we are afraid," Lisa said softly. "They do not understand that leaving the talks is part of our strategy." Alex nodded. "Exactly, fear is their tool, but we do not play by their rules. They measure power by obedience, not by readiness. Our silence is already changing them." John leaned back and added, I have been in negotiations before. I have seen this before in a smaller scale. When humans are quiet, others assume weakness. Then we act and it is too late for them. Meanwhile, on several council worlds, military leaders began to mobilize. Fleets were raised, patrols were increased, and defensive systems were put on alert. The council wanted to show strength, to warn humanity that leaving the talks could have consequences. But every plan was uncertain. Humans had always surprised them. The more the council tried to predict human behavior, the less predictable humans became. On Earth, humans were moving differently. Colonies received instructions from the council, but most of the directives were ignored. Instead, humans focused on their own coordination. Kate Miller, overseeing logistics on Earth, organized the movement of resources with efficiency no alien world could match. Ryan Cole managed fleet readiness, coordinating ships from multiple colonies. Civilians and military personnel worked side by side, and the mood was calm, not panicked. Humans had learned a long time ago that calm and focus could achieve more than panic or fear. Back in the council hub, alien leaders debated. Some wanted to send envoys to force humans back to the table. Others wanted to strike preemptively, believing that human independence could threaten the entire galaxy. A few voices whispered caution, reminding everyone of humanity's history of surviving impossible situations. The debate grew heated, but no consensus emerged. Every action was slowed by fear, hesitation, and the simple truth that humans could not be controlled in the way they had once imagined. As days passed, humans continued their quiet preparations. They upgraded older ships, repaired hidden facilities, and tested defense systems long abandoned. The work was not loud or flashy. No broadcasts announced their actions. It was not meant to be known. Alex and his team maintained only minimal communication with the council, enough to be tracked if necessary, but never revealing their full plans. Each day the humans moved closer to readiness. Each day the council grew more uncertain. In one council session, a young alien delegate with a shimmering gold skin asked nervously, "How can a species so small and new pose so much threat without firing a single weapon?" Older delegates shook their heads. They had assumed humans could be predicted, but they were learning, slowly and painfully, that humans acted differently from any species in the galaxy. Humans did not show weakness, even when they left, even when they did not respond. That silence was louder than any threat. On the human ships, life was calm and organized. Mess halls were quiet, ships were clean, and every crew member knew their task. Unlike the council worlds, humans did not rush or panic. Lisa watched fleets move in formation, coordinated with precision by Ryan Cole. She thought about the alien assumption that leaving the talks meant fear or weakness. It made her smile quietly. Humans had always turned assumptions into opportunities. This was just another example. John Evans checked tactical displays, noting that every system was operating at peak efficiency. He reported to Alex, "Our fleets are ready for any response. We have enough supplies, enough ships, and enough coordination to face threats anywhere. Yet we remain calm." "That is our advantage," Alex nodded, understanding completely. Calm, control, and preparation were far more powerful than panic or noise. Humanity's silence had already caused confusion and fear across the galaxy, and it would only grow stronger as they continued. Back on the council worlds, some leaders began secretly contacting one another. They exchanged information about human fleet movements, speculated on intentions, and debated what action to take. The lack of communication from humans was maddening. Every attempt to interpret their actions led to more uncertainty. They had not yet realized that humans did not need to explain themselves. Humans acted on their own terms, and the council could only watch. As weeks passed, intelligence reports began arriving from outlying sectors. Human ships had been seen moving quietly, but they did not attack or threaten. They simply positioned themselves strategically, as if preparing for something the council could not yet understand. Whispers of fear began to spread even among ordinary citizens on alien worlds. Stories of human history, long forgotten or dismissed, resurfaced. Humans had survived impossible odds before. Now, with their silence and calm, they were creating a new kind of fear. On the human command ship, Alex gathered his team again. "They are panicking," he said. "Good, they will make mistakes if they act on fear, but we must remain ready. Nothing has changed except perception. We do not act yet, we only prepare." Lisa nodded. Our silence is stronger than any message we could send. They will not understand our purpose until we choose to reveal it, John added quietly, and when they do, it will be too late to stop us. Far across the galaxy, the Council began sending fleets to monitor human activity more closely. Each time, they reported strange behavior, humans moving in patterns that made no immediate sense, preparing defenses that seemed unnecessary, yet perfectly organized. Some Council members began to fear that humans were learning something the Council had not considered. That independence and preparation could make a species stronger than any threat or rule imposed from above. Humans continued in their quiet efficiency. They coordinated colonies, refined strategy, and strengthened their fleets. There was no panic, no chaos. Every person had a role, and every action was deliberate. The calm of humanity became a silent force, a message that was clear without words. The Council felt it without realizing it. Humans were no longer negotiating for permission or approval. Humans were preparing to act on their own, and the galaxy could only wait. As night fell on one of the human command ships, Alex looked out at the stars. He thought about the Council, about alien worlds filled with fear and uncertainty, and about the quiet power of his people. He turned to Lisa and John. "They think leaving was weakness," he said softly. "They are wrong. Walking away was the first step. Now we show them what being prepared means." Lisa smiled. "Calm, organized, and ready. They cannot predict us because we do not act on their expectations." John nodded. "And when the time comes, they will learn the truth. Humans do not need approval. We need readiness." The galaxy waited. Council worlds braced for action, unsure what humans would do next. Fleets moved cautiously, sending scouts and monitoring ships, but every report only showed humans moving quietly, efficiently, and without fear. The humans had chosen their path: silence, calm, and preparation. The Council had made a mistake in thinking they could control or intimidate them. The lesson was beginning, though no one yet understood the full story. Humans would not rush. Humans would not react to fear. Humans would not negotiate under threats. They would act when the time was right, with precision, control, and power. And as Council leaders argued, panicked, and speculated, the humans continued their quiet preparations, building a force that could not be ignored, controlled, or defeated easily. The galaxy had learned one thing: when humans stop talking, it does not mean weakness. It means readiness. Far from the Council worlds, humans were already moving with quiet precision. They were no longer just leaving the talks or avoiding confrontation. Now, they were preparing on their own terms. Ships moved from hidden docks, supplies were transferred with care, and every fleet received instructions without interference. It was a scale of organization the galaxy had never seen from humanity before. Alex Carter stood on the bridge of the main command ship, looking at the holographic displays of fleets and colonies. Thousands of points of light represented ships, stations, and supply routes. Every movement was accounted for, every resource calculated. Behind him, Lisa Brown monitored communications channels, ensuring they were secure and undetectable. John Evans reviewed fleet readiness reports, nodding quietly to himself. Everything was in place. "All systems are ready," John said. "Ships, crews, supplies. We can move anywhere at any time." Alex nodded. "Good, but we do not move yet. This is preparation, not action. We show strength without rushing into war." The Council will not see this coming. Lisa glanced at the star maps, tracing the paths of human fleets through nearby sectors. "They still have scouts watching us," she said. "We need to be careful about exposure." Alex smiled. "Let them watch. What they see will confuse them. What they cannot see is where we are truly ready." On Earth, Kate Miller directed logistics across multiple colonies. Fleets of transports carried resources from hidden depots to shipyards. Repairs were made on older ships, and new technology was integrated silently. Humans worked together in a way that aliens could not understand. Civilian engineers alongside military officers, everyone knowing exactly what needed to be done. Efficiency was not just a goal, it was a way of life. "We've never done it like this before," said Ryan Cole, overseeing fleet readiness from a forward command station. "Every colony is linked, every ship accounted for, every crew trained. No interference, no outside control. It's all human initiative." Kate nodded. "That is the point. They will not expect us to be this organized. They assumed leaving the talks meant weakness. They assumed fear. Instead, we are stronger than ever." Across the galaxy, the Council continued to panic. Reports of human ship movements arrived with delays and inaccuracies. Some Council leaders called for preemptive strikes, believing humans might be preparing for war. Others urged patience, afraid that action could trigger the humans to fight. Arguments lasted for hours, with no clear decision. The humans had already removed themselves from Council control, leaving leaders with nothing but uncertainty. On the human command ship, Alex convened a meeting with senior officers. They discussed fleet formations, supply routes, and defensive positions. There was no rush, no fear. Every decision was deliberate, measured, and based on logic rather than emotion. Lisa suggested a new formation for fast deployment ships, and Alex approved it quietly. John added recommendations for energy allocation on the main fleets. Everything they did strengthened human readiness without revealing the full picture to the Council. Far away, the Council sent scouts to observe human colonies. What they found confused them. Ships moved efficiently, but there were no aggressive maneuvers. Fleets positioned themselves in ways that seemed defensive, yet too coordinated to be random. Civilian populations continued normal life even as fleets moved. It was impossible for alien observers to predict human behavior. The Council had trained to expect panic or hesitation, but humans had neither. "They are not following our rules," said a Council analyst nervously. "We cannot predict what they will do." "Every movement is unexpected," another voice added, "and yet they are calm, they are organized. It is unsettling." Whispers spread through Council chambers. Even older delegates remembered the records of human wars and survival. They had underestimated humans once before, and now it seemed they might do so again. Back on Earth, humans were also building new technology quietly. Research teams integrated old war designs with modern improvements. Ships gained new propulsion systems, better shielding, and more efficient energy management. None of this was announced to the galaxy. Alex understood that surprise was a tool. Humans would not need to prove anything until the right moment. Preparation itself was a message. As weeks passed, humans tested coordination across vast distances. Fleets practiced maneuvers between colonies, supply lines were checked, and communication networks were tested for security. Each exercise was smooth, efficient, and precise. Crews understood their roles without constant supervision. Humans had learned to act as a single organism when needed, and the Council had no knowledge of how synchronized they were. In one hidden shipyard, Lisa watched technicians upgrade a fleet of older frigates. She noted the calm focus in every human worker. "They do not panic," she said quietly to John. "They are completely prepared for anything." John smiled. "That is the difference. The Council thinks strength is about obedience. Humans know strength is about readiness, organization, and calm focus." Alex walked through the command center, observing everyone at work. He stopped briefly to speak with a young engineer. "How are the systems?" he asked. The engineer smiled. "Ready, sir." "Everything is in place. We are prepared." Alex nodded. "Good. Remember, we do not need to act yet. Our strength is in our readiness and our patience. The Council will only see us when we choose." Meanwhile, reports from outer colonies indicated that humans were quietly expanding hidden defenses. Old stations were reactivated, weapon systems checked, and fleet coordination tested. None of these actions were aggressive. They were measured, logical, and designed for readiness. Alien observers struggled to understand. Some assumed humans were hesitant, some assumed preparation for negotiation, but no one realized the scale of coordination humanity had achieved. On the command ship, John Evans monitored training exercises. Crews simulated battles against theoretical threats, practicing defensive strategies and rapid deployment. Every exercise increased readiness without attracting attention. Alex watched the progress and smiled. Humans were quietly becoming the strongest independent force in the galaxy without firing a single shot. Far away, the Council debated how to respond. Some wanted to send fleets to pressure humans into compliance. Others feared any action could trigger a reaction humans would win. Uncertainty grew into panic, and panic clouded every decision. The humans had achieved what no council had expected: total independence without confrontation. As months passed, humans quietly prepared for the unknown. Supplies were stocked, ships repaired and upgraded, and fleets trained across multiple colonies. No announcement was made, no message was sent. Humans acted on their own terms with calm, focus, and efficiency. Alex convened a meeting to review progress. "We are ready," he said, "but we do not act yet, we wait. The Council cannot predict us, they cannot force us. Our independence is already proven." Lisa nodded. "Their fear is growing even though we have not acted. They assume we will, but we only prepare. It is enough," John added, "and when we do act, they will not be able to stop us. We are already too organized, too ready." As the humans continued their preparations, alien worlds noticed strange patterns. Fleets moved in unexpected ways, supply lines strengthened quietly, and colonies operated with more independence than ever before. The Council began to understand that humans could not be controlled. Their power was not in weapons or fleets alone, but in their ability to act decisively, calmly, and in unity. Alex walked through the bridge one last time before resting. He looked at the star maps, the fleets, and the silent preparations happening across human colonies. Humans had chosen independence. They had chosen readiness. And now, the galaxy would begin to see that calm preparation could be more powerful than threats, rules, or demands. Humans were not only walking away from the Council's control. They were showing what it meant to be truly independent, strong, and ready to face whatever the universe would bring far across the galaxy. The Council was in chaos. Human fleets had been observed moving silently, strategically, but there were no attacks, no demands, and no explanations. Council leaders were confused and afraid. They had assumed humans would negotiate, compromise, or at least respond to threats. Instead, humans acted on their own, completely independent. Panic spread among the delegates, and desperate meetings were called. A silver-skinned delegate with 4 arms slammed them on the conference table. "We cannot ignore them any longer. They are moving beyond our control," a gold-scaled alien spoke next. "We have tried messages, threats, even monitoring. They do not respond. They act as if the Council does not exist." Other delegates murmured in agreement, fear in their voices. Whispers spread of old human battles, of planets defended against overwhelming odds, of victories achieved against enemies far stronger. Now, those stories were being remembered, and the Council realized that they had underestimated humanity again. On the human command ship, Alex Carter stood quietly on the bridge observing star maps and fleet positions. Lisa Brown and John Evans were at their stations, monitoring logistics and communications. They had seen the Council panic reports. The humans knew that the Council was desperate, but they did not act arrogantly. Humans had patience. They had control. They had preparation. "They are sending messages," Lisa said. "All urgent, all begging for explanation." Alex nodded. "Let them beg. We will respond, but only on our terms. Our silence has value. It teaches them restraint." John added and cautioned, "They will be careful now. They cannot predict what we will do next." Alex smiled. "Exactly, our power is not in attack yet. It is in choice." The Council has learned that leaving talks does not mean weakness. On multiple Council worlds, messages were being sent at once. Leaders pleaded for clarification, for assurances, for negotiations to continue. Some offered concessions, believing humans would now respond if they were generous. Others demanded that humans return to the Council immediately. Every message received only delayed the Council's understanding of humanity. Humans had no intention of returning to Council control. They would act on their own, and the Council had no authority to interfere. On Earth, Kate Miller coordinated supplies to fleets moving to strategic positions. Every colony was linked, every ship accounted for, every resource tracked. The humans were ready, but they were not moving to attack. They were preparing, strengthening, and ensuring that every fleet, every crew, every system was operating perfectly. Ryan Cole oversaw fleet readiness, ensuring that ships could deploy anywhere at any time. Humans acted calmly, without panic or urgency, but with focus and determination. Back on the command ship, Alex gathered his team in the planning room. "They are desperate," he said. "Messages, fleets, threats, all of it, they do not understand us and they cannot control us. Our independence is the strongest weapon we have." Lisa looked at him. "And they will only realize it fully when we act. Until then, we maintain calm and readiness." John added, "We are proving a point without firing a shot. They cannot make us act against our will. Our silence and organization are teaching them fear, restraint, and respect." Council fleets attempted to monitor human movements more closely. Scouts and observation posts were deployed. Reports came back, but they showed nothing aggressive. Human ships moved in patterns that were impossible to predict. Fleets repositioned quietly, resources were transferred silently, and every human colony operated independently, yet with perfect coordination. Council leaders debated, argued, and panicked. Every plan they made to pressure humans failed because humans did not follow expectations. In one hidden fleet base, Lisa watched technicians upgrade energy systems on a fleet of cruisers. "They cannot see our full power," she said quietly. John nodded. "And that is exactly the point. The Council thinks our calm is weakness. They are terrified without knowing why." Alex joined them, observing the work. "Preparation is a message," he said. "We do not need to announce it. They will feel it in every calculation, every hesitation, every misstep they make. Our readiness is teaching them a lesson." Messages from the Council continued to arrive, some polite, some desperate, some even threatening. Alex reviewed them carefully and replied only once. The response was calm, firm, and polite. He explained that humans would continue to act for the safety of their people and colonies. They would not negotiate under threats or coercion. Humans were not abandoning responsibility. They were simply asserting independence. Every word was measured. Every sentence reinforced the fact that humans would not be controlled. As Council leaders read the response, fear grew. Some admitted quietly that humans had achieved something the Council could never do: total independence with calm, deliberate action. Humans did not need to fight to show strength. Their organization, patience, and control had already unsettled the galaxy. Fleets were raised in fear, messages were repeated, but humans remained calm. The Council had no leverage, no authority, and no understanding of how to respond. On the human command ship, Alex walked among his crew. Morale was high. Humans worked quietly, efficiently, and with confidence. They did not panic. They did not act rashly. They were preparing for any threat, ready to defend their colonies and respond to challenges. The calm confidence of humanity became a message louder than any fleet or weapon. The Council was learning, slowly, that humans could not be intimidated or forced. Across the galaxy, aliens watched human fleets reposition, colonies strengthen, and resources move silently. Reports of human activity were confusing, contradictory, and unpredictable. Some leaders suggested preemptive strikes, fearing that humans might act aggressively at any moment. Others argued for restraint, recognizing that human preparation was not an attack. The Council had no clear strategy. Humans had already removed themselves from control, and the Council was powerless. Alex convened another meeting with his senior team. "We will not rush," he said. "We act when the time is right. Our calm and preparation are more powerful than any threat." The Council will understand that leaving talks was not weakness but independence. Our patience teaches them restraint and respect. Lisa nodded. "And they cannot force us. We choose when to act." "They are learning that lesson the hard way," John added. "And when we do act, they will realize fully how strong humanity has become. They cannot control what they cannot predict." As days passed, human fleets continued quiet operations. Ships moved to strategic positions, supplies were redistributed, and colonies strengthened defenses. No aggressive moves were made. Every action was deliberate and measured. Humans demonstrated power without violence. They showed independence without conflict. The Council could only watch, increasingly fearful and confused. On the command ship, Alex reviewed fleet status one last time for the day. "Every system is ready," he said. "Every crew is trained, every colony prepared." The Council believes they can pressure us, but they are wrong. Humans act with focus, control, and intelligence. That is our greatest strength. Lisa smiled. "And they do not even know it yet." "Our calm is their fear," John added quietly, "and soon they will beg for help they cannot earn. We will act on our terms, protecting what must be protected, but showing them they cannot dictate our choices." Back on the Council worlds, leaders sent more desperate messages. Fleets moved closer to human positions. Some colonies were threatened in attempts to provoke a reaction. Still, humans remained calm. No aggressive moves, no rash actions, no emotional responses. The Council had created the conditions for panic and confusion, but humans were not reacting the way aliens expected. Independence and preparation had become a silent force the Council could not overcome. As the human fleets and colonies continued quiet operations, alien leaders began to whisper among themselves. They realized humans had achieved a level of readiness and coordination the Council could not understand. Humans had taken control of their destiny, asserted independence, and demonstrated calm power. Fear and respect began to spread simultaneously. Humans had done nothing aggressive, yet their presence alone had changed the calculations of hundreds of worlds. On the human command ship, Alex observed the galaxy outside. Fleets moved quietly in formation, colonies strengthened defenses, and preparations continued without fanfare. Humans were ready for any threat, calm in the face of uncertainty, and independent in every decision. The Council could beg, threaten, or demand, but humans had already shown the galaxy a truth that could not be ignored. When humans act with preparation, patience, and calm, they do not need permission, they do not need approval, and they cannot be controlled. Alex turned to Lisa and John. "They are begging now," he said quietly. "Good, that means they understand our independence. They cannot stop us and they cannot control us. We do not need to fight yet. Our readiness and calm are already a message they cannot ignore." Lisa nodded. "And when the time comes, they will see how strong humans truly are," John added. "We have already changed the galaxy without firing a shot. Our preparation is our power and our calm is their lesson." The humans continued quietly, calmly, and efficiently. The Council could only watch, beg, and fear. Independence had become a silent weapon, and humanity's readiness had become the strongest message the galaxy had ever received. The lesson was clear. Humans do not need to negotiate under threats, and when they act on their terms. The Council had learned the hard way that silence, preparation, and calm focus were more powerful than any demand the galaxy waited in silence. Council leaders held emergency meetings, fleets moved cautiously, and scouts reported human movements, yet nothing aggressive happened. For months, humans had been preparing quietly, strengthening fleets, coordinating colonies, and ensuring readiness at every level. Now it was time to show the result of that preparation, though not through anger or chaos, but through calm and decisive action. Alex Carter stood on the bridge of the command ship, observing the formations of human fleets across multiple sectors. The ships were perfectly aligned, supply lines secure, and communication networks tightly encrypted. Every colony had a role, every crew member knew their duties, and every system was functioning at peak efficiency. He turned to Lisa Brown and John Evans. "This is the moment," he said softly. "We act, not because the Council ordered us, not because they threatened us, but because it is the right time. We will protect those who cannot protect themselves, and we will show the galaxy what humans can do when they act on their terms." Lisa nodded. "They will finally understand what we have been preparing for, our calm, our organization, our independence. They cannot ignore it any longer," John added, "and they cannot stop us. Every plan we have made, every resource we have gathered, every fleet we have deployed is ready for this. They have no control over humans, and now they will see the result." Far across the galaxy, Council worlds were in panic. Fleets had gathered near key sectors, expecting some form of aggression, yet none came. Whispers of fear grew louder. The Council could no longer predict human movements. The humans had outsmarted every observation, countered every expectation, and remained calm throughout. Now the Council realized that humanity's independence was complete, and they had no authority to reverse it. On Earth, Kate Miller oversaw the final preparations of supply fleets. Transports loaded with medical aid, emergency supplies, and reinforcements for outer colonies moved quietly. The work was efficient and precise, yet calm. Civilians and military personnel worked together seamlessly, a perfect demonstration of human organization and cooperation. Ryan Cole monitored fleet deployments, ensuring that ships could reach any sector instantly. Humans had prepared for months, and now everything was ready. Alex convened a final meeting with his senior officers. "Remember," he said, "we do not act recklessly. Our goal is not to destroy, but to protect and demonstrate our independence. Our fleets are ready for defense, rescue, and strategic control. We move when necessary and always with precision." Lisa smiled. "And they will see how strong humans are without realizing how quietly it was done." John nodded. "They will learn the lesson we have been preparing to teach." As human fleets moved into key sectors, alien scouts reported the activity. Fleets formed in patterns designed to secure trade routes, protect colonies, and create defensive zones. There was no aggression, no provocation, no unnecessary risk. Aliens reported confusion. Council leaders tried to interpret the movements. But every action was deliberate, calm, and perfectly timed. Humans were no longer negotiating under council pressure. They were acting independently, and the galaxy could not predict them. In one distant sector, a human fleet arrived to assist a colony under threat from a rogue alien faction. Without waiting for council permission, humans coordinated defense, evacuated civilians, and repelled the attackers. The operation was flawless. No ships were lost, no civilians harmed, and the rogue forces were neutralized with minimal conflict. Reports reached the council worlds and panic spread further. Humans were effective, efficient, and completely independent. Alex observed the reports with satisfaction. "They are beginning to understand," he said. "Our calm, preparation, and independence are more powerful than any weapon. We are protecting lives and at the same time teaching the council a lesson they could not have learned in any meeting." Lisa added, "They cannot control us, cannot stop us, and cannot predict us. Every success reinforces our independence." John nodded. "And every success is a message louder than words. Humans act on their terms, for their people, and for what is right." As the weeks passed, humans continued operations across multiple sectors. They stabilized trade routes, ensured security in vulnerable regions, and assisted colonies in need. The council sent messages, pleading for control or explanations, but humans responded only when necessary, always calmly, always with precision, and always asserting their independence. Every human action was a demonstration of capability without aggression, of strength without provocation, and of choice without compromise. Council leaders began to understand, though too late, the full scale of human independence. They had assumed that walking away from talks was a sign of weakness. Now, they realized it had been the first step toward total control over their own destiny. Humans had prepared, coordinated, and acted, all while the council panicked and scrambled. The lesson was clear: humans could not be controlled, pressured, or intimidated. Their strength came from calm, preparation, and unity. On the human command ship, Alex addressed his officers. "We have done more than protect our people," he said. "We have shown the galaxy that humans are not to be underestimated, that independence is our right, and that calm preparation is our greatest weapon. The Council will remember this moment for generations." Lisa smiled. "They will never again assume humans are weak. Our silence, patience, and preparation have already changed the galaxy." John added quietly, "And now they see our actions protect, stabilize, and assert independence all at once. That is the true power of humanity." In one final operation, humans coordinated a defense of multiple colonies simultaneously. Fleets moved in perfect synchronization. Supplies and reinforcements arrived exactly where needed, and threats were neutralized efficiently. The Council watched helplessly as humans achieved more in a single week than they had imagined possible. The galaxy learned that humans were capable of action on a scale that could not be predicted, controlled, or restricted. After the operation, Alex convened his senior team one last time for this stage. "We have acted where necessary, protected where possible, and asserted our independence fully. The Council cannot stop us, and they cannot control us. Our calm, preparation, and unity are stronger than any rule, any fleet, or any threat." Lisa nodded. "And the galaxy now knows it. The Council cannot take back what has already been done." John smiled. "And they will remember this lesson. Humans act on their own terms, and when we do, it is decisive and effective." As fleets returned to safe positions, colonies resumed normal life under human guidance and protection. No unnecessary violence had been used. No empire had been challenged for personal gain. Humans had acted independently, decisively, and with purpose. The Council had finally understood that walking away from talks had not been weakness, but the first step in asserting control over their own destiny. Alex stood on the bridge one last time, looking at the galaxy around him. Fleets moved quietly, colonies flourished, and humans had proven their independence without destruction or chaos. He turned to Lisa and John. "We have shown them what it means to act on your terms," he said. "Calm, prepared, united, and independent. The galaxy will never see humans the same way again." Lisa smiled. "And that is the message we needed to send. Not with war, but with strength, focus, and careful action." John added, "And the Council will remember, when humans stop talking, it means they are already ready to act. When they act, it is decisive." The Council was left to reflect on their panic, their mistakes, and the underestimated power of humanity. Fleets could no longer dictate human actions. Messages could no longer force compliance. The lesson had been delivered. Humans choose their own path, act with precision, and protect what they value without interference. The galaxy had learned the hard truth, and humanity had done so without arrogance, without chaos, and without unnecessary conflict. As the stars moved silently past human fleets, Alex looked at the galaxy one last time. Humanity had walked away from the talks, prepared in silence, acted decisively, and shown the Council the meaning of independence. Calm, preparation, unity, and choice had become their most powerful weapons. The lesson was complete, and the galaxy would never forget. Humans walk their own path, and no one can stop them.